Hello everybody, welcome back to C&S Corvettes in Sarasota, Florida. It's your Corvette buddy Lyle, and boy do we have a lot of stuff to cover today. Can't wait to get into it. Guys, before we get into anything else today, today's a really important day and I want to share it with you because you helped get us here. Today we reached 65,000 subscribers. 65,000! You realize how many people that is? That's like Rose Bowl level people. Super, super happy about that. And again, it's all thanks to you guys. We couldn't do it without you. We appreciate your continued support. And our goal is now 100,000 subscribers. So if you enjoy our content and you have friends who have Corvettes or enjoy Corvette content, by all means, tell them about our channel, have them subscribe, have them like the videos, because again, it's all free for everybody who does it. And it really helps us because once we get to that 100,000 level, we're going to be able to do a whole lot more because the algorithm is going to be so much more favorable to us. So thank you so much for your support thus far, and we look forward and appreciate your support in the future. Tell everybody you know. Thank you very much. Now, let's talk about what the month of October was like. Today's November 1st. The last 30 days have been among the most stressful and trying in my 25 years in this business. And most of it, pretty much all of it, had nothing to do with us. It had everything to do with what was going on around us. Obviously, if you guys follow the channel, you know that we dealt with 2 hurricanes in 2 weeks, one of which brought a lot of flooding, the other brought a lot of wind damage, both of which, thankfully, we weren't terribly harmed by, but it was still hours upon hours of cleanup and 2 weeks of lost scheduling for all the people who were already on our schedule, and we're booked out several months. So now I'm doing my best to sprinkle those people in among an already full schedule. Power outages, internet outages, not being able to get gas. It was like living in a poorly run third world country for the better part of the month. And you guys have been super supportive, and I appreciate so many of you writing in through emails and comments on the videos and phone calls, checking on us. Believe it or not, we were doing cleanup on Friday after the hurricane. And I had 2 sheriff's deputies, Tahoes, pull up here. And one of our customers from out of state had actually called the Sarasota Sheriff's Office to do a wellness check on us. So me and all the guys are outside, sawing and cleaning and dragging and raking. And this group of deputies comes in, they're like, "Are you Lyle?" And I'm like, "Maybe." But they were just like, "Hey, this one customer called for a wellness check on you guys." I'm like, "Oh man, that's crazy." We really appreciate that love. And I got to spend some time in the showroom showing the deputies the cars and stuff. But in fact, if you go back to that video where we were doing the cleanup, and I'm walking you around doing the shop cleanup, you'll see the 2 deputies, Tahoes, parked in the street. They were still here. So yeah, that was kind of fun. But overall, I mean, during the storm, I actually left. I grabbed my son and his fiance. We jumped in my car the Monday before the storm because I was worried it was going to be a Category 4. And my house was built in the 70s. And while I have relatively new windows, like 15 years old in the house, the 2 big sliding glass doors at the back are from the 70s. And I had no confidence whatsoever that those were going to stand up to Category 4 winds. So I removed my family out of the state. The crazy thing is, even Monday night, I-75, the interstate running north out of here, was already a parking lot. To go from here to Gainesville, which is only about 150 miles from here, was 10.5 hours. Yeah, and all of the gas stations along the interstate had been running out of fuel. So you're sitting in traffic, burning fuel, going 2 miles an hour, and when you run out of fuel, you're stuck. So I decided I was going to do something different. I ran to the middle of the state, Sebring, which had State Route 27, US 27 in there that runs up the middle of the state. and the panic hadn't hit in there yet. So there was still fuel available, and I was able to take back roads all the way up almost to I-10, but it ended up being almost 15 and a half hours to get to Birmingham, Alabama, where we stayed for 3 days. Now, you asked me, Lyle, why'd you go all the way up to Birmingham? Well, all the hotel rooms in Georgia and South Alabama and in the panhandle of Florida were all full of people who'd been displaced from Hurricane Helene a week earlier. So that's how far I had to go to get a safe place to stay for me and my immediate family. Yeah, a lot of craziness. And then got back. I had a tree fall on my house while we were gone, and thankfully it didn't hurt the roof, but I still had a tree on my house. So between my son and I, we decided, all right, we're going to handle this ourselves. And I pull out the electric chainsaw that I've had, and thankfully we had power in my neighborhood, and that lasted for about 10 minutes before it died. So I'm like, man, what are we going to do? And I went digging in my garage, and I found my grandfather's old handsaw from like the 1920s. And between my son and myself, we cut that big tree up by hand. It's all still piled in my driveway because it's going to be probably a month before they get around to pick that stuff up. But we did get it done. And same kind of thing here at the shop. Steve and I with chainsaws and hand saws had to clean up all the stuff that fell here. But yeah, it's been an interesting 30 days. I will tell you this though, there is some good news. November 1st is my birthday. So I am celebrating my birthday today, and I'm celebrating into the weekend with my son and a bunch of our friends. We are all headed over to Daytona for the HSR 24-hour historic races, which we go to every year. Some great cars there, great people. They race all day and all night, and it's so much fun to watch. And the pits are open, the garages are open. You can go visit the cars, visit the drivers. It is one of the best experiences of the year. We're looking forward to having perfect weather, thankfully. And the great thing about the HSR races this year is that the C6Rs, number 63 and number 64, that ran at the 24 Hours of Le Mans are going to be there and racing actively. So I'm going to get a bunch of pictures of those. I'm going to see if I can interview the people who own them, and I'll get a bunch of little video clips of them out on track. There's also a bunch of old Corvette race cars that are going to be there, so I'll get some of that too. We'll be sharing that with you next week. So looking forward to that. It's going to be a nice end to a very rough month. Again, thank you all for your support. Thank you all for all your well wishes. And well, I should have some really interesting content for you next week. Thanks again. Have a great weekend.